Welcome to United Taste of America. I'm here with Cindy and Dondie Guest, the founders, the original owners of Dondie's. Thanks for having us today. We're excited to be here.
Glad you're here. Glad to be.
So, number one, what a piece of land, right?
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think it kind of started with that, right?
I fell in love with the piece of property.
Yeah.
What can I do with it?
Because this bend in the White River up on this bluff, it's just perfect.
True.
And so, tell me, you're in your 20s, you're born and raised here,
Born and raised, yep.
and you've had your eye on this piece of property for a long time.
We did. This bend in the river right here is what gives Des Arc its name. Des Arc is a French word meaning the bend in the river. So this bend gives Des Arc its name. And there was a button factory on this piece of property way before my time. I mean, my dad and mom would tell the story. But this piece of property was grown up. It was a salvage yard, had old cars and just junk on it, and weeds there were head high. And this view wasn't always. I mean, the view was there, but the trees were grown up on between here and the river. But I knew I wanted to do something with this piece of property. And the guy that had it, I thought, I'm not sure I'll be able to buy it. He wouldn't. If he knew I wanted it, he might think, well, I really got something here that I might not want to get, or up my price. So I went to the local attorney here, is Robert Abney, and I said, Robert, I want you to buy that piece of property for me. And he said, well, I'll see what I do. Well, a couple of weeks later, he called me back and said, he said he'd sell it, and this is what he'd take for it. And so I bought the piece of property, or we bought the piece of property, and I thought, now what am I going to do? And I was just out of college, a couple of years out of college, and my dad had the local, we call it dairy bar, fast food restaurant here, and then we were in the car business, used car business together. But the used car business, we financed our own cars, so we didn't take a salary out of there. We kind of grew that to be able to finance more cars. So we both had to make a living outside the car business, and he made a living in the dairy bar business, and we needed to make a living somewhere. So I told him, I said, I think we can make a restaurant, catfish restaurant work here. And this is when catfish was just kind of getting started good in Arkansas. And there was a couple other places in other towns that were doing it just on the weekends. And so I thought that would go good. We can work in the car business during the week, and on the weekends we can sell fish. So my dad was on the bank board, and the banker was all, and the banker was a friend of ours too. And he said, "Oh, let's go for it." So the local builder here was named Lyndall Allred, and he's not with us anymore, but he did a lot of the building around here. And I went to him one day and I said, "I want to build a restaurant on this piece of property." And he said, "Well, what do you want it to look like?" I said, "I have no idea. I want to take advantage of the view, what's the river view." He said, "Let me think about it for a couple of days." And a couple of days later, he came back and had a piece of butcher paper. You know how the grocery stores used to wrap all their meats in white butcher paper. And he had a piece of butcher paper, and he wasn't an artist, and neither was I, but he had kind of roughly sketched out what he thought this place should look like. And he said, he worked on out of high school, he worked on I think it was a Corps of Engineers riverboat, steamboat. And he said, "I like to build it the way I remember that boat."
To look like a paddle wheel.
To make it look like a paddle wheel,
Wow.
which would be fitting. And we also had a little festival in Desert. It was called Steamboat Days, in kind of honor of the steamboats.
Yeah, because the steamboats came up and down the White River, yeah.
And there's all kinds of pictures of the steamboats. Matter of fact, there was a steamboat named Desert. So I said, okay, so we just started building. We cleaned the property up, and just started building. We got married in September of '87. We started this project the fall of '88.
Yeah.
It's good to be young, isn't it? Because you don't know what you don't know.
We just went in blindly, and and somebody asked me when we were down here with them building it, and somebody asked me one time, well, if that thing doesn't go over, it doesn't work, what are you going to do with it? And I thought, well, we'll just have to live in it. It'll just have to be our house. So that was kind of our plan, really. It was, and we just started and went. And once we got it open, we had our first rehearsal. We had the first event in here in the spring of '89. '89. And it was rehearsal dinner. Tommy and Shannon Bryant, who just lived a block down the street there, wanted to have their rehearsal dinner here. So we didn't have any carpet on the floor yet. No. We had, at that time it had carpet and we didn't have it. It just wasn't finished, but it was finished enough to have their rehearsal dinner. So in the spring of '89, we opened and had their rehearsal dinner, and people were just waiting in line to get in. After when we opened. And we were really blessed with the support of not only the local people, but people from all over drove to get here. And so it wasn't really I knew I fell in love with a piece of property, and I could envision what the view would look like. So that kind of inspired the whole process.
Yeah, it really did. And the fact that it does look like a paddle wheeler right here just connects the whole area in so many unique ways.
Very fitting, I think.
Crazy and stuff. Yeah. So, but it's hard work.
Very hard.
Restaurant business is hard work, but I love the restaurant business. But we were working. Cindy and I worked all week in the car business. I worked all week in the car business, and then we worked all weekend, and it looks like you could just come in here and open this thing up we were open on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night at that time. And people think, well, all you got to do is just go in there and open the door, but it wasn't, Cindy and
a whole lot more than that, right?
Yes.
Cindy and another lady, they spent a couple of days in here cleaning it, and getting it ready to go again for the next time. And there's always food truck deliveries and preparations. And
I was down here a lot.
Took a lot of her time, and but I still enjoy. I love the food. I love the people. The customers coming in, and we had a good crew. We had a lot of great employees, and we employed mostly high school kids. And they were great. I mean, they did great. Matter of fact, most of them that were, the waitresses or waiters would make as much money on the weekends working for tips as their parents did working jobs.
Yeah.
The whole week.
Yeah. So
it was good for the community, and it was we would do it again if we had the
Well, it's a great legacy to both of y'all what you started, and it's nice to see the Scotts continue.
Absolutely.
And with the same kind of vision of let's take care of our customers, let's take care of the community, and it's all pretty good. So
they do a good job with it.
Yeah. Well, listen, thanks for your story, and we're excited about being here, and I'm excited about eating a little catfish.
I think you'll love it. If you love catfish, you'll love it.
That'd be great.
All right.